All right, welcome back to Tulsiology. My name is Dave, and remember Thomas Massie? I love Thomas Massie. He is the guy from Kentucky who made Trump upset, and pretty much he made everybody upset by wanting a recorded vote on the economic stimulus bill. At a time where Americans are like, yeah, give me the money, he still wanted accountability. He still wanted people to have to record their vote rather than the whole yay versus nay thing where nobody is held accountable. He's libertarian-minded, for sure. He's from Kentucky, which apparently Kentucky has some liberty-minded people between Massie and Senator Rand Paul. Libertarians, a hint, run somebody really good for governor in Kentucky. Maybe you are right now. I'm sure somebody will send me a link to that. So anyway, Tulsi Gabbard and Thomas Massie introduced a bipartisan resolution defending the free press and calling for charges against Julian Assange to be dropped. Now, if you're a true progressive type person, you're part of the non-TYT, real progressive independent media out there, you should be supporting these two courageous congresspeople for doing this. First of all, I want to say if Trump decided to pardon Julian Assange, I think he would win the election. Is he going to do it? No. He's got COVID now, so everybody, including Rachel Maddow, is wishing him Godspeed and prayers and so forth. And I'm not minimizing that situation, but there's something else going on there, and it's probably more appropriate for a different video. Anyway, today, Reps Tulsi Gabbard and Thomas Massie introduced House Resolution 1175, a resolution that defends the freedom of press. They introduced the First Amendment, noting that news-gathering activities and news organizations' ability to acquire and publish information are protected under the First Amendment. So they filed a resolution to basically reaffirm the First Amendment. The resolution calls for the United States to drop all charges and efforts to extradite Julian Assange. Now, see, you could have massive agreement on this, but people are so basically hell-bent on destroying the candidate that they hate so much that they can't function, whether that be the orange man or the senile man, it doesn't really matter. It's this... And it's like a fog, the fog of war. You've heard that terminology before. This fog of war has actually crept into the way people think about issues, and rather than being concerned about the ability to speak freely, but you've got so-called television programs like The View, where they actually advocate that they want people banned and people censored, and then they call Trump a dictator, by the way. Now, Trump could go totally against that narrative by saying, I believe in free speech. But then, of course, you're going to have the people, mostly on the left, who are going to say anything contrary to their new Orwellian language policies is hate speech. Okay? And hate speech, whatever you want to call it, plus double good plus, you can't, it's so much of this has happened. It's the year 2020, and we are in this dystopian world, and we're living each day. Trump gets COVID yesterday, and people are sending me messages like, are we all just living in some kind of weird matrix? And it's like zzz, zzz, like they're zapping you each day with electricity. Freedom of the press is a vital function of a free democracy in which the government is accountable to the people. Julian Assange published information that exposed lies and abuses of power at the highest levels of government. Remember how Trump used to love WikiLeaks? And then later on, he was like, WikiLeaks? Don't know anything about them. And right there, folks, I get it. If you can't vote for Donald Trump because of that one move right there, I get it. I completely get it, because it's a big deal. I mean, when WikiLeaks was helping Trump in 2016, and then, of course, that's where you get the Russian collusion and, you know, the emails being deleted and BleachBit and all that stuff being used by the Queen of Warmongers. And people are just kind of like, like they don't care. They don't care enough to think that this issue affects everything. Because if we can't get information, if we can't hear different viewpoints, think of what's going on with COVID-19 right now in censorship. Blatant censorship. I can't even have conversations with people about alternate views, like different views on this topic, because of the kind of censorship that's happened. They just think I'm a conspiracy theorist and nobody is saying things contrary to the CDC. Nobody. Okay. Well, that's because these videos get banned. And by the way, I think this would probably hold big tech accountable for their mistreatment of those who are just trying to present their point of view. Anyway, it goes on. His indictment under the Espionage Act sends a chilling message to every member of the media and all Americans, said Representative Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard sounding more and more like a libertarian socialist every day, or a libertarian progressive. I think that would be the best name for Tulsi Gabbard. She's a libertarian progressive, although Cenk says that she might as well just join the right wing, because, you know, she's against ballot harvesting and using a source that they disapprove of, because certainly a competing news organization can't measure up to the brilliant journalism that TYT does. U.S. government prosecutors now claim that any journalist or news organization that publishes classified material is liable to prosecution under the Espionage Act, which would have led to the indictment of the Washington Post for the publication of the Pentagon Papers, if you remember that. The federal government's prosecution of Julian Assange sets a dangerous precedent. All extradition efforts and charges under the Espionage Act against Assange must be dropped now. At a time when government officials claim the right to perform warrantless surveillance upon all American citizens, there is an urgent need to zealously guard freedom of the press and to demand government transparency and accountability. Now, keep in mind, these issues are so paramount right now that a lot of people aren't talking about, like, the grab bag of goodies, like the Medicare for all and the free college tuition and, you know, the $15 an hour wage, by the way, which actually doesn't sound that unreasonable since they've decreased the value of money by inflating the amount of dollars that are supposedly in the market, except most of those dollars are digital, but it's still driving inflation, so the 15 doesn't sound. Anyway, getting to my point is that people need to stop yelling and shouting about these other issues, because if we don't get this stuff under control, where we call out certain people for doing things and we can do it legally because it's freedom of the press, if that freedom goes away, you're never going to win. You're never going to win on those issues that you care about, because you're going to get censored. You're going to get blocked. You're going to get, infiltrated by a bunch of bots, okay? And then your arguments are all going to fall on deaf ears because nobody's going to hear them. That's why. So there won't be any deaf ears to even hear your argument. The ongoing attempts to prosecute Julian Assange threaten our First Amendment rights and should be opposed by all who wish to safeguard our constitutional rights now and in the years to come. I join my colleague, Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, in calling for an immediate end to all charges against Mr. Assange, said Representative Thomas Massie. All right, here they talk about the background of what's been going on with Julian Assange, and that goes on for a long time. Representative Tulsi Gabbard has been a consistent champion of whistleblowers throughout her time in Congress. She has previously spoken in support of Julian Assange and applauded a ruling by the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, which determined that the warrantless telephone surveillance program that secretly collected phone records of millions of Americans violated the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. The NSA program in question was exposed by Edward Snowden, who leaked details about it to the press. Tell you, Snowden and Assange are two heroes. And I think journos across the neoliberal, neoconservative landscape are just jealous because they essentially put their lives on the line in order to blow the whistle on this level of corruption. So there you have it, Tulsi Gabbard and Thomas Massie working together to try to truly drain the swamp. Will they succeed? I kind of doubt it, because I look around and I just see neoliberalism. I see people who are focused on their own kind of, I don't know, it's this insistence on the D team or the R team, and if you get a win there, then your life is going to be better. And whereas to find out truth, you need this to happen. You need a free press to happen, and people's priorities are all misplaced. And when I see a post like this on Twitter talking about Julian Assange, I typically retweet it or like it. You know, and it's a thing that we all need to do if we truly care about this platform and all the other platforms across social media. So Tulsi Gabbard, again, doing what's right, flying in the face of those over at TYT who probably think Julian Assange is a criminal, just like the rest of the neoliberal establishment. And even if they don't, they're too wrapped up in trying to make Joe Biden into Bernie Sanders, and it's not working. It's not working. It's just the dumbest thing. But a lot of people are interested in the dumbest thing. It's really sad. All right, folks, thanks for watching the channel. If you haven't subscribed, do yourself and myself a favor, and please subscribe to the channel. It's weird because I'll gain a couple subscribers, I'll lose a few, I'll gain a couple, I'll lose a few. Typically, channels like this that have about 7,000 subscribers, they tend to at least grow a little bit. And I understand I've been back and forth on what I wanted to do with the channel, but if you're a Tulsi Gabbard fan, you know, you don't have to send me money. There is a way if you want to do that. There's PayPal in the description of the channel. You can find out where to send money via PayPal. And Patreon if you want to join. This channel shares an account with my music-based channel. So if you do sign up there, just give me a shout out and tell me which channel you're watching and so forth. And again, if you want to have a conversation about things, I do talk to people over there a lot. Unfortunately, I don't have time to do all the comments on videos and so forth. It's just too exhausting, and there aren't a lot of YouTubers that spend time just sifting through all the comments on their videos. It would take up too much of your time, and the critical comments will really get under your skin, and then you can't function for the rest of the day. So in any event, Patreon is the place to do that, and I would appreciate your support over there. The very least, if you could just subscribe to the channel. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.